get to the big factor that we need to talk about here, because there are breeds around the world that are being banned from breeding. Breeders can no longer breed pugs, or in the Netherlands, they can no longer breed bulldogs in Norway, and this is a trend. This is a trend, and it's wrong, because it doesn't allow the breeders to actually improve their breeds. It's not going to make these breeds go away. What it does is it increases the importation of dogs from other countries. And in Europe, it's mainly Eastern European countries where the breeders are not doing health testing and not paying attention to health. And so it diminishes the overall health of these breeds and becomes a big, big problem. At any rate, disorder of respiratory difficulty due to anatomical restriction of air movement. Everybody needs oxygen, and that air needs to flow freely through the respiratory tract. Clinical signs get worse as the dog ages. It's a syndrome based on several components. Narrow nostrils is the #1 component in French Bulldogs. All right? Hypoplastic trachea is the #1 component in Bulldogs or English Bulldogs. Okay, elongated soft palate is a major component in the pug. So each of the breeds that have extreme brachycephaly have different aspects of this disease that are more important to pay attention to. Hypoplastic trachea is a narrow windpipe. Everted laryngeal saccules is just, they are actually lymph glands in the throat that get inflamed and then pop outward, and therefore those are also blocking the airway and causing more turbulence in the back of the throat. This elongated soft palate, part of it is anatomical, but part of it is that soft palate flapping back and forth as the dog breathes, and as the dog gets older, that soft palate thickens up and gets even fatter and blocks off more air. And this is why things get worse over time. So stenotic nares is the most important aspect for your breed, not that the others can be ignored. But, you know, when you have a dog like this, you need to select for dogs with open nostrils. The nostrils should be, the width of both nostrils should be 1/3 the width of the entire nose, the opening of that nostril. Surgeons have determined they do the surgery where they actually cut back that part right there to open them up. What they need to do to restore these guys to normal breathing is that the nostrils need to be 1/3 the width of the nose. And so you need to breed for open nostrils. You need to select for dogs that have open nostrils. The elongated soft palate here, it flaps back and forth. It's too long. It gets in the way of the larynx there, and so it's a big part of it. And it's just, you know, the bottom line is that dogs need a nose. Okay, everything that breathes needs a nose. And in Europe, the term that they use for extreme brachycephalic breeds, brachycephaly just meaning short nose, okay, they call them flat-faced breeds, okay, and that is the book that's on it, the encyclopedia book on BOAS is set on the title, it's flat-faced breeds, okay, in the legislation, it's flat-faced breeds, and the bottom line is, nobody wants a I don't know who wants a flat-faced breed. I mean, the pugs are, and I've spoken to the pug club last year, and and talked to them about that, because some of their standard, look at the dogs in their illustrated standard, and they do have a flat face. You draw a line from the forehead, down to the end of the muzzle, and it is flat there. But I don't think that that's what we want. We want a little bit of a nose there, because a nose is functional. You need to breathe through that. This is what controls. It cools the. We need to have a sinus there that can cool the air so that they won't overheat. It takes the heat from their body and dissipates it, instead of just passing it back and forth till they get hotter and hotter and they go to heat stroke. All right, so it's a functional disease that they need. And by selecting for a shorter and shorter muzzle, breeders have unintentionally created this disease. Okay, because this disease didn't used to occur, and there used to be more of a muzzle that was there in our breed. And we have a lot of variation in the breed. We have a lot of dogs that have more of a muzzle than others. And in actuality, the research that's done that actually tries to select genomically against this disease, taking the most severe dogs and looking at their chromosomes molecularly, and then figuring out which dogs that aren't affected molecularly and doing breedings just based on the chromosomes. What they figure out is when they breed the dogs that breathe the best, what happens to the offspring? Noses get just a little bit longer, and the nostrils are open just a little bit more. All right, so things that we're looking at are what are being controlled.